Hi, welcome everyone. Let's get started here. I'm Yumiko Shimabukuro, faculty at the School of International and Public Affairs here at Columbia University, and a co-founder of the Japanese Management Leadership Program, or JMLP, at the Center of Japanese Economy and Business at CJEB here. And welcome everyone. Today's event, how Haichu successfully localized a global brand in the US with fun and innovation. I'm so looking forward to this. And this event is part of the JMLP, which was co-founded with Yoko Ogino, the managing director of CJEB, and me. Before turning it over to today's speaker, I'll briefly introduce CJEB. The center was established in 1986, and its mission is to promote knowledge and understanding of Japan's economy and its business system in an international context. CJEB is the only research center focusing on the Japanese economy and its business systems within a university setting in North America, so that makes CJEB and the CBS very special. I'm so honored to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Teruhiro Kawabe, Chief Representative for the USA, President and CEO of Morinaga America, Inc. Mr. Kawabe has worked with the Morinaga Group for over 30 years and has executed new brand launches within Morinaga America, including Charjo, a unique energy drink, gel drink made in Japan, and High Soft, a Japanese long-selling caramel brand that debuted in the US in 2023. You can read his bio in the booklet that was provided. And today, Mr. Kawabe will discuss the history of Haichu and other Morinaga America products in the US, distribution efforts to bring Japanese candies to the global marketplace, Morinaga's transcultural marketing efforts, and how flavor and fun can be used to globalize a brand. Before turning it over to Mr. Kawabe, I want to take this moment to thank our corporate and individual sponsors for their generous donations that are listed in the booklet. These gifts allow us to continue developing and delivering exceptional programming such as this. So on that note, just to maintain the community integrity, if you can put away your electronic devices, and no taking photos for today's session. On that note, Mr. Kawabe, it's so wonderful to welcome you to CBS. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for joining me today. So it's a privilege to stand here to share with you the remarkable journey of Haichu business in the United States. To share the story, the title, How Haichu Successfully Localized a Global Brand in the US with the fun and innovation. So let me introduce myself, and I'm Teruhiro Kawabe. Let's call me Terry, it's my nickname. The Chief Representative for the USA, the President CEO of Morinaga America. Before I walk through my presentation, I'd like to introduce myself. I joined Morinaga Group in 1991 after I graduated from the university. My career started from sales in Japan after 16 years experience. I was sent overseas to Singapore, where I took responsibility for trading business in mainly Southeast Asian market. After that, I was transferred to Morinaga America, which is my first time of the company as a senior vice president, COO. At that time, Morinaga America had the past 4 years after the establishment. But during the time from 2012 to 2016, I think it was a big turning point for the Haichu business in the States. I think more than 70% of today's presentation will be from the time. After that, I went back to Japan, where I spent 2 years in Hokkaido, Northern Japan, at the top of the regional branch office, followed by Jakarta, Indonesia, where we had a joint venture company, but unfortunately, we closed the business because we changed the global strategy. Then I moved to Bangkok, Thailand to establish a sales company, Morinaga Asian Pacific, where we expanded Haichu to Australia, South Africa, and expanded to different products like a chocolate, biscuit, and any other Morinaga's products, mainly in South Asia market. Then in January 2022, I was assigned to the President CEO of Morinaga America. Now, I was so excited to come back to Morinaga America again to continue the exciting haichu business and try to develop the different achievement in the States. So I'd like to briefly introduce the Morinaga business here in the United States. And the Morinaga has two companies in the States. Morinaga America Inc., which is a sales company established in 2008 in Irvine, California. It takes responsible for mainly marketing, product development, branding, and sales. Right now, we have around 60 employees, including remote status of sales representative. We also have a production company, Morinaga American Foods, in Mebane, North Carolina. Started the production in 2015, where we have around 200 employees. Then we are excited to have second factory in the same place, side by side with the current factory, where we expect to start operation in 2027 in order to meet the market demand and consumers' expectation. I'm going to introduce a product line from the next page, followed by the history over the 16 years. Right now, we have around 45 items in the candy line with about 60 variety flavor, which produced in the US, Japan, China, Taiwan, and Poland. The stick pack, the peg bag, top 1, 2 of the sheet have a long history in this market. These pack sizes are fit for the C-stores, drugstore, gas station, airport concessions, check lane in the supermarket. The SUP, stand-up pouch, center of the sheet, appeared in the market after the North Carolina factory started the operation in 2015. After we started the production in the factory, we had the opportunity to deliver the product into the grocery stores like a Kroger, and mass market like a Walmart and Target. Not only that, these big packs are obviously fit to the seasonal opportunities like Halloween, Easter, and any other seasonal opportunities in the huge candy market. The mini bags are good for the dollar store like a Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and the Family Dollar in order to adjust the price point. These dollar stores have around 40,000 stores at nationwide level. We also have haichu bites, unwrapped candy, reduced sugar, which is a better for you line. We are also exploring the opportunity to develop any other health-related product. Haichu gummies are still new and made in Poland, and High Soft, made in Japan, is a caramel line, but this brand has more than 50 years history in Japan. Chargel is a unique gel-textured snack for the athletically minded person. Drinkable like a beverage and satisfied like a snack. It gives us stomach energy without caffeine. The key concept of the unique product, what we are appealing, is a thirst-quenching energy, a thirst-quenching snack. The great news for us is that Chargel is now sponsoring the athletic division of the Columbia University. Morinaga is a pioneer of the gel drink category in Japan and keeping its #1 position in the Japanese market. Since it's coming from the manufacturer of haichu, no matter what, I'm confident to say the true-to-life fruit flavor of Chargel are distinctly tasty. Under the sponsorship with the Columbia Lions from this month, we just started the Chargel sampling activation at the Dodge Fit Center in the Columbia University. So according to the charging person, the sampling started from this week. So from now on, it's the most important part when I talk about the haichu history in the state. I will walk through the history and what we have achieved and effort we have dedicated over the 16 years. It's American haichu history over the 16 years. The bar chart is showing the annual sales every year. In the top green part, it describes our market status as a record of the chronology. So I want to talk about what we did in the grassroots period before we established the company in the States. Haichu was carried by the Japanese ethnic distributors. These distributors are mainly importing the Asian food from the Asian countries and bringing them to the Asian grocery stores of the Asian ethnic aisle in the mainstream market, regardless of the category. So Haichu was placed in the Asian ethnic aisle side by side with Asian food like soy sauce, noodle, or any other Asian spices, as well as Asian snacks. Even though candy is obviously the Western confectionery. At that time, we already realized that the Haichu was well accepted by the local consumers in the West, regardless of the race. However, as you can imagine, consumers who want a candy for the Halloween or Easter don't walk into the Asian ethnic aisle. This time, I was here in the States, seeing the situation from my inside of the long year sales experience. I couldn't imagine we can expand Haichu to the nationwide level, and we couldn't break into the US candy market. The biggest hurdle was that we didn't have the networks to the US candy distribution. If we don't have the candy-focused distribution, I thought we wouldn't make it happen. So we tried to knock the door at the candy broker, retail buyers, or distributors. Most of them didn't accept Haichu because Haichu wasn't considered as an American candy. It means the candy distributors didn't have the Haichu inventory in their warehouse for. Going from bad to worse, even if we had an opportunity to bring the Haichu to the candy aisle, Haichu was already categorized as Asian ethnic food. In this situation, we are forced to stay in the Asian ethnic aisle. With a technical reason, it was challenging for the retail stores to move the placement from the Asian ethnic set to the candy set once the product was registered in a certain category of the retail store. So we explored the distributor and the brokers who specialize in the candy in the nationwide level. It was very difficult for us to bring Haichu to the mainstream and retail stores. We needed to tough negotiation with both the Asian distributors and the candy distributors to figure out the overall distribution pipeline. During that time, we tried to reach out to a lot of candy brokers and distributors to explain Haichu should be obviously American candy. We would like to get out of the Asian ethnic corner. Haichu should be placed in the candy corner with the side-by-side, the Starburst, Skittles, and Sour Patch Kids. Through the activation, we could meet up with a few candy brokers or retail buyers in person to introduce Haichu, the bringing sample. Most of them highly evaluated Haichu to say, this candy is great, great product, it's a great texture, it's amazing candy, amazing product. So, hearing the feedback from the buyers, I strongly believed Haichu would be gradually placed in the mainstream supermarket or move from the Asian ethnic corner to candy corner. But it was not so easy. There was no response, even though it took 1 month and 2 months. Then I asked our sales rep to follow up with the status. Hey, what's going on? Hey, call the buyer to ask the status. But most of their feedback from the buyers were, oh, Haichu is not yet the local candy, but it's the Asian candy. It's niche. It's not the time to do that. I determined to consider again if our competitors around this area started to carry the product in the candy set. So that was the feedback. At that time, I was almost crying every day. Just for information, this chart is showing the race composition by region. As you see, Asian population rate in California is much higher than others. For the Asian company, the West and California are special. Huge Asian populations and a lot of Asian grocery stores in the area. I'm assuming that the Asian students in the area historically share the candy with their friends in school or sports club in the community, regardless of the race. So we had already captured Haichu fan in the area, and the brand awareness was higher than other areas. However, if you look at the other region, there are smaller Asian population rate. So automatically assuming there are few Asian grocery stores in that area, where most of the people don't have a chance to see and taste the Haichu. It made us tough to expand the distribution, except West region. So at that time, day by day, we participated in the candy show or in-store sampling so that I could introduce a product to break into the US candy set, where we shouted every time in front of the booth and Haichu, Haichu fruit chewy candy, try it away. Haichu is great, the long-lasting chewiness, great candy, like this. But the so interesting phenomenon, seeing the sampling activation, is that the people pick up a piece of candy, then showing the skepticism in their face. That is our first impression. However, once they get to know the Haichu, they grab the candy, then take it away. That is, seeing this situation, then I strongly believe, and the Haichu would be accepted by the people, then we can make success in the market. The left photo is not a racing car, but it's a Haichu wrapping car. The merchandisers also use the Haichu wrapping car with their everyday sales activation for the advertising purpose, as well as bringing attention to the retail stores. The merchandiser drove around the stores, delivered the counter displays and the gravity feeders and the floor shippers, and we replenished the candy on the shelves on the display. At that time, opportunity came to us. One Japanese player, Junichi Tazawa, used to be a pitcher of Boston Red Sox. Top right player wearing the Red Sox, the Haichu collaborated T-shirts, brought the Haichu with other Japanese staff into the bullpen. I heard that the player Tazawa bought a Haichu at the Asian grocery stores around the ballpark. Surprisingly, everyone was supposed to be obsessed with Haichu. They couldn't stop taking Haichu not only the bullpen, but also everywhere in the stadium, like the dugout and the locker room and the office area in the team. For player Tazawa, there was no problem when the team had a game in the area where there were a lot of Asian grocery stores, like Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Seattle. But it was a big problem for him, when the team had a game in an area where there is no Asian grocery stores, like Cincinnati, Kansas City, Cleveland, or St. Louis. He couldn't find a Haichu. Then his management reached out to us to buy the ton of Haichu to share with a teammate. As the rumor was spreading, all team staff, even the competitors players, even in team staff and umpires were also obsessed with Haichu. Then we sent a bunch of Haichu with a lot of Haichu t-shirt swags in the box as well. So they are willing to wear the Haichu t-shirts during the interview in front of the media and post their social media. The exposures are beneficial for us because it's considered as free advertising. I think they are willing to show up the media wearing Haichu and the t-shirts in order to make us feel happy. A lot of MLB players are wearing Haichu t-shirts like this and post their social media to encourage us to send a bunch of Haichu again and again. A Red Sox player, Al Poiseta, was showing his disappointing look and appealing to us because haichu already run out from the brand. They are celebrity. I think the superstar, they're millionaire, but billionaire. But they're wearing the haichu t-shirt just because they want a piece of haichu. So seeing the haichu boom in the Major League Baseball, we found a great opportunity, not only the consumer perspective, but also expanding distribution perspective. Our biggest hurdle at that time was figuring out how to break into the US mainstream market, especially in the Midwest, Northeast, and areas beyond the West area. As I mentioned, even though the buyers are aware that haichu is a high potential product, we are struggling to bring haichu into the candy set in the store. However, I thought if we can appeal to the retail buyers to say, hey, haichu sponsored Major League Baseball team. Haichu is now one of the American candy, and haichu should be placed in the candy shop. Haichu will do the sampling every weekend in the ballpark. The consumer in this area will be disappointed if your store doesn't have haichu. So the retail buyers would be many retail customers and community must be the big fan of the local team. At that time, our sponsorship with the Major League Baseball worked very well, rather than for the B2B purpose than the B2C purpose. Walgreens, which has HQ in Illinois and about 8,000 stores in the States, was the first national chain store who carries a haichu with a nationwide level. So it is an example in the New England area where sponsored the Boston Red Sox before. We put the team logo on the counter display in the New England area in order to bring the very catchy team logo with haichu candy. We did the same thing in Chicago with the Chicago Cubs logo. We drove around to place them to the stores using the haichu wrapping car. Not only the MLB sponsorship, but also we did a lot of marketing activation. Example, the fundraising program and the diverse social media platform to the consumers with multiple channels. These celebrities were a big haichu fan at that time. Their tweets helped us to build an endorsement for haichu brand. Haichu buckets were placed in the dugout in the sponsored stadium. These days, the buckets are placed in St. Louis, Baltimore, and Detroit. The players were enjoying taking haichu during the game. As you see the photo, haichu and haichu bucket were used for celebrating the hero with a haichu shower. These exposures and the buzz were expanding to the baseball fan. So bringing back to the story about the distribution, these exposures and the endorsement obviously encourage the retail buyers and the distributors to carry the product in the candy aisle. And haichu was going to be one of the key players in the US candy market, even though we successfully moved haichu to the candy set. Candy set was very competitive. We are still new brand, especially in the Midwest, South Central, or East, which is completely different from the West. As you see the photo, the competitors are mostly well-known big brands like Starburst, Swedish Fish, and M&M, and Haribo. So we needed to spend a strong marketing investment to the both consumer level and the store level so that we can meet the higher sales level and the buyers expect. Our activation of both marketing strategy and distribution strategy worked very well, especially after we established a production company in North Carolina. Large bag made in USA were expanding to the grocery stores like a Kroger, the club store like a Costco, and the mass market like a Walmart, Target, with nationwide level. We are strongly expanding sales during the time. So I moved to the next part. I want to briefly describe about the market status. We are tracking the brand awareness over the years through the consumer research. Our awareness level is still not so much compared to the big candy brand. But Haichu is strongly growing every year. You can see it has a huge potential to grow if you compare to the different big brands. Expanding the distribution is the most important factor to share a contact point with the consumer. This chart is showing the market status by area. The red part, top center, the numbers are nationwide, national average. The coverage stands for the handling ratio of Haichu. It means 78% of the stores in the United States have already carried Haichu. Then the brand awareness is 57%, and the market share is the non-chocolate category is 1.2%. However, if you look at the numbers by area, there are big differences. As you see, all of the numbers of the West or California are higher than other areas. So with regards to the other area, I understand that there are still huge opportunity to grow if the other market will catch up with the same level of the West. This chart is showing the average weekly sales number per store from the sales data of the certain retail chain store. The same thing with the previous statement, California and the West are higher than others. Taking everything into consideration, we know it's meaningful for us to continue to spend marketing investment, especially in non-Western market. Right now, we have MLB sponsorship with the St. Louis Cardinals, Detroit Tigers, Chicago Cubs, and Baltimore Orioles. We are focusing on the weaker area so that we can introduce Haichu and encourage the people to try the candy. As you see, we are reaching out to the consumer with such emotional connection. We have Haichu Family Pavilion in the Busch Stadium at St. Louis, where there are a small amusement corner, Haichu Carousel, and Haichu Ferris Wheel in the Comerica Park in Detroit. Then also, we host Kids Ask Question. This activation is that kids ask a few questions to the superstar, and the video is featured between the inning in the game. The family and the kids focus activation like them will create precious memories in their family. Not only that, we have recently opened the pop-up shop every year. As you see, these spaces are created, associated with new flavors in the year. Top center is a fantasy house where we decorated the fantasy world in the Airbnb. And top left and the right are pop-up shop in Miami and Manhattan when we introduced the Haichu Bites. Bottom center and the right are for the dessert mix fun, which imitate the candy truck. The bottom left is a new one, and the getaway mix a pop-up store in the Miami International Airport at the end of the March. Then a brand mascot, Chubby, came to the store. These exposures bring excitement to the Haichu fan, where we can enhance the brand loyalty to the people. So finally, I'm sharing my thoughts of the globalization, especially in the Haichu. This chart is summarizing the feedback from the consumer research to ask what elements are distinctive. Chewy elements of the Haichu is most stronger than others. But if you see the fun element, it's obviously inferior to the competitor. This phenomenon, when it comes to Haichu, is different from the one in the Japanese candy market. Haichu were accepted by the consumers because of the unique chewy texture and juicy and fruity flavors, regardless of the market. However, when it comes to Japan, the consumers enjoy the flavor variety among the same fruit flavors, which grown in the different place. For example, the strawberry taste, which is grown in Fukuoka Prefecture, the Western Japan, and the one in Tochigi Prefecture, the Eastern Japan is slightly different. Our Arano team has achieved to express the sophisticated taste difference. This true-to-life fruit flavor concept is distinctly strong point and well accepted by the Japanese consumer. On the other hand, the American consumers expect something unique and unconventional rather than enjoying the true-to-life fruit flavor variety. The tulip appearance of the two-tone colors was leading fun and excitement to the consumers of unique candy. Then, in order to make the brand fun, we created Haichu brand mascot last year. The name is again Chubby. Chubby will have the conversation with consumers through the multiple activation so that Haichu will be positioned as one of the fun candies. The American people always expect candy to bring something surprising or unique, not just enjoying the taste. So Haichu is now already one of the American candy here. The retail buyers or distributors are always looking forward to coming to the Haichu booth every year at the Candy Expo in the state. All of the employees are excited to continue to grow on Haichu in this market. In the global expansion right now, Haichu is expanding the market, especially in the Europe market these days. We'll continue to expand the opportunity to get into the different markets so that Haichu become one of the mega global brands in the world. Thank you very much for having me.
My mouth was watering as I was looking at all those different flavors, and there might be some surprises at the end, so we will see. So fascinating talk today. Just learned so much in such a short period of time, so thank you so much. I want to step back a little bit and ask you a question about breaking into the U.S. market in the very early stages of Haichu, selling this product for the first time. Were there any initial challenges that you faced that you didn't talk about in the presentation? And what were they, and how did you address them?
Good. So when we first brought Haichu into the market, our biggest challenge was and the brand awareness. So we are mainly available in the Haichu in the Asian grocery store. The most American people are not familiar with either Japanese candy or Haichu. So our main hard on top of that, and American candy market is dominated with a big brand like Starburst, Skittles, and Sour Patch Kids. So our main hurdle is figuring out how to break into the mainstream market. So to tackle this, we did a lot of direct engagement and sampling to educate the people on what made Haichu unique. Then slowly but surely, then we expanded the distribution, making sure it's not just the Asian grocery store, but also the American mainstream market. So, and we put emphasis on the very unique and the long-lasting chewy texture and variety of true-to-life fruit flavor. So then it helped us to build the brand recognition and acceptance among the wider range of American consumer.
Fascinating. Another part that in your presentation that was very exciting to also look at, but also I was so impressed by the number of flavors that the company has really expanded. And so localizing flavor has been a really important part of this strategy. Can you elaborate more a little bit on the strategies to use to adapt Haichu, specifically on Haichu's flavors to suit American consumers' preferences?
Okay. So when we introduced the Haichu in the market, and we brought a very classic fruit flavors like a strawberry, green apple, grape, and mango. But through the consumer research, we realized that the American people are always looking for something unique and unconventional. So we gradually introducing such kind of unique flavors like fantasy mix and the dessert mix and getaway mix. So the getaway mix is a new flavor that we just launched this year, and it's great news for you guys, and you can grab it away after the class. And we already prepared some so then, and the fantasy mix, for example, and we have the blue raspberry flavor, which is from synthetic fruit flavor. Then, and the rainbow sherbet is from the frozen dessert. Then blue Hawaii is from the cocktail flavor, like this. Such kinds of very unique flavors and bring the fun and exciting moment to the consumer.
Now, we have two questions from the RSVP time. These are questions from Columbia Business School students. One was on Morinaga going globally. So let me just read it. This is from Suzanne. Why did Morinaga choose to expand into the American market specifically? And could you elaborate on other global markets Morinaga has a strong preference in or in hoping to expand?
I see. And we have already built a strong presence in the several markets across Asia, like Japan, China, Taiwan, and South Korea, Thailand, and blah, blah, blah. But see, if I look at the American market, which is the largest candy market in the world, we found a great opportunity. With the size and potential, we knew we had a chance to introduce something unique. Then, so after seeing the big success in the States, and we expanded the market to new markets like Australia and South Africa, and even in Europe, including the United Kingdom. These markets have a similar consumer trend to the US. So, and right now, our sales in the Western markets are already outpacing the one in Asia. So we did similar and activation and in the different Western markets.
The second question from the student was about brand identity. Specifically, how important was it for you to maintain or alter the brand Japan's identity when entering the American market? What role does localization play in marketing efforts, especially for the brand identity?
See, and we value the Japanese identity, especially when it comes to the quality and the craftsmanship behind the product. However, we recognize that we needed to strike a balance between honoring the Japanese cultural heritage and appealing to the US preferences. So, and candy is obviously the Western treat, unlike sushi, ramen, mochi, tempura, and teppanyaki. So localization played a key role, as we did, for the product development, and including the flavor selection the American people prefer. So, and so we continue to see the each market trend. Then we are exploring the different opportunity to get into the, especially in the Western market, especially in the Europe market.
Okay, on that note, maybe let's open up for Q&A from the audience. Is there anybody young over there? Maybe let's start from the back of the room.
So, hello, my name is Eric Huang from the Columbia University undergraduate program. And then, how have your partnership and collaborations, such as Morinaga's sponsorship of Major League Baseball, contributed to Morinaga's brand recognitions and distributions in the United States, especially as you work to introduce products beyond haichu?
So Major League sponsorship with Major League Baseball played a huge role in the growing brand visibility and expanding the distribution. Then sponsorship will build an emotional connection to the consumer and strengthen the loyalty to the brand. So as we continue to grow, the sponsorship like this will help position the haichu as one of the global, one of the American candy market. So that is the reason we continue to do that sponsorship with Major League Baseball.
Hi, my name is Camille. Thank you so much for this talk. So tell us more about Morinaga's approach to sustainability and how it factors into the company's U.S. operations and product development, especially at the facility in North Carolina.
Okay. So sustainability is not just a trend. It's one of our corporate goal, I think. Then, so we committed to become the wellness company by 2030. So we are exploring the way to doing the sustainable practice and without compromising the high quality and the consumer expects. And so especially in the switching to the sustainable material can be tough because of the cost and the quality challenge.
Hi, I'm Domo, second year MBA student at CBS. It's wonderful to have you today. Could you tell us more about the future of Morinaga in the States? What goals do you have for the company and its products? And also, what is the role of wellness?
Okay. So the US market offers us a very great opportunity to Morinaga. Then our main goal for the time being is to expand the haichu line to introduce the unique and fun candy. So at the same time, and wellness is more important to the consumers. So we explore the way to bring the wellness related product to the market with more than 120 years history, and we have developed a variety of the product and technology and expertise. So, and we continue to explore the opportunity to do that.
I'm gonna shift my gaze here. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I noticed that you worked with a number of different MLB teams. When you were selecting the locations for the teams, what were some of the rationale and how did that help expand your customer base?
So, and as I explained, and our sponsorship team is mainly in the Midwest. The area in the Midwest is the awareness is very lower than others, especially in the West. And sales number per store level is also lower than West Coast. In order to bring the attention and increase the fun, bring in the emotional like a connection to the consumer, we selected the MLB team, especially in the weaker area, like Chicago, the St. Louis, Detroit. That is the reason.
If you can also identify yourself, that would be great.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much, Teruhiro, for coming to camps today. My name's Will. I'm a first-year student in the EMBA program here at CBS. I had the honor to go on the Japan Clubs trip to visit Japan. And so many of the limited edition flavors on the screen, I finally tried. I wish they were here. So that's the feedback. But I was curious how you and the brand think about leveraging / not leveraging the Japanese identity. I know you mentioned a lot about the goal of becoming an American candy. Do you think there's something lost in trying to move away from those Japanese origins and some of those flavors that are now exclusive to Japan and not in the States?
So to be honest, and Japanese identity is very important. And so, and however, our goal, especially in the 10 years ago, was getting into the American market. So we didn't want to stick around the flavor associated in Japan. So that's why, so we use, as I mentioned, and the American people prefer the unique and unconventional flavor. So that's why we developed the flavor for the American market. Is that okay?
I think the other keyword you were using with the American market was like fantasy, it's the realm of imagination. So I think definitely your message came through there. Other question? Yes.
Adam Donaldson with Columbia Athletics.
Partnership.
Thank you very much for your partnership. Obviously, my question is probably starts with everything you talked through today, but I am curious the strategy and the way that you guys built the Haichu brand here in the United States as you're developing new products like Chargel and others. How does that success and learnings help build other products in the strategy in the United States?
It's a great question. And so we always need to see any turning point to make a success, regardless is consumer perspective or any other distribution perspective. So in the Haichu, for example, there is a big turning point to see the feedback from the MLB teams. Then we consider the appropriate way to get into the American mainstream market. That was our problem before because we didn't have the distribution network to the mainstream market. But I'm not sure with regard to Charger, now that we have a sponsorship with the athletic division of the Columbia University, I want to see the feedback from the users. I wonder when and where, with whom Charger will be taken. I wonder Charger will be taken before or after the workout, or before the last 3 innings, before the running into the field, during the halftime, or timeout in the basketball or football, or being after you guys be back to your home playing the Fortnite. I'm not sure. We wanna see the feedback from the consumer. So I'm very looking forward to hearing the feedback from the users.
Any other question? Let me go way back there. Yes.
Thank you very much for your talk. My name is Yudai from Columbia Business School, first year. My question is, what do you differentiate other Japanese food companies who weren't maybe not successfully expanded their business in the US? I see the Morinaga has put a lot of effort expanding the business in the US. However, a lot of Japanese food company is not like that way. I see. What would you differentiate those companies and then Morinaga?
So to be honest, Haichu was a very good fit for the American consumer. That is a big reason. Otherwise, there was no boom in the MLB team. So the important thing is the consumer's preference. If your product is good fit for the American consumers or not. And Haichu was very great fit to the American consumers. So on the other hand, Charger is very new product here. There is no such a product. The brand concept and the thirst quenching snack. Thirst quenching snack. I believe you cannot imagine what it is. But we want to try to saying this concept to the consumer, then we want to make another boom. So I think there are multiple options to get into the US market, make a success. So seeing the consumers is very important. Seeing the situation, the distribution, that is also very important. So we always need to get interested what's going to happen for the future. I think that is a very important factor to make success in any market, not only the US. Okay.
Great questions. Maybe the first one, yeah.
Hi, my name is Lulu. I'm currently a master's student studying economics here. I'm from Taiwan, and Haichu is one of my favorite candies growing up, so I really enjoyed learning about this. I understand that Japan is able to grow very wonderful fruits and vegetables, and I was wondering if you were able to source similar ingredients here locally, or do you have to import some of them from Japan?
No, and that depends. And so these days, with regards to the import and and the tariff problem is it's very flexible. So as a standpoint and the CEO, I always think about the situation if the Trump tariff happen or relieve the tariff. So I'm not sure what it is. But with regards to our business, and we export the products from Taiwan about 40% right now. Then so we have we have the flavors. It's developed in Taiwan. Then also we don't have the flavor, but Taiwan Morinaga has a flavor. For example, like a lychee. Lychee flavor is very popular in Taiwan. However, we don't have a lychee in the States. So we want to explore the opportunity, bring such kind of the new flavor and very popular in the different market. Is that okay? It's my
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Great questions, everyone. In the interest of time, I'm going to ask final question. Any career lessons, advice? You have this over 30 years of experience in Morinaga, such a dynamic workplace and industry. Any advice for our students, especially here?
over the 30 years, I learned a lot of lessons from my bosses and the colleagues and the assistants and the buyers and the customers, the suppliers, and the friends, even my family. So, and without their support and guidance, I haven't been here where I am today. So, yeah, I think the most important thing is that keeping the human relationship and showing the respect to anyone around you.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you to our corporate and individual sponsors. Thank you to CJEB